Hello everybody, this is Sam316, and I'm was debating on making this video, um, and I'm gonna try to not say too many ums, and hopefully you can't hear me breathe, but you have to excuse the timing, I was gonna do this earlier, but this little kid outside was bouncing his ball, therefore distracting me, and it wasn't the right time anyway, but I'm doing this after, do this after WrestleMania 34. So, uh, I keep saying no. Anyway, I'm doing this after WrestleMania 34. And I was debating on doing a video about the whole Channel Awesome debacle that they have going on. And, I felt as if, I felt as if, oh, let me move this. Sorry. I need to do something real quick. It was giving me ADD. Okay, but yeah, I was debating on doing this because it's just been like talked to death and talked to death. So I'm not going to bore you with same document that's out there that everybody's been, you know, reading verbatim and I would ask that you look up Obscurus Lupa because she did a interview that was kind of like in the heart of the whole matter. I think it like the nucleus is like Lupa, and then everything else kind of follows along. But I would suggest you watch that video. I'm gonna try to give you a link. It might be the post production. I'll give you the link. Yeah, and it's just the look up Mars Girl because Mars Girl was talking about it. Just I read so many. I saw so many things on that the producers that used to be on that guy with the glasses were talking about, and it might pale in comparison. So with that said, I'm gonna let you kind of get the vast amount of information from there. I think it'd be better. Um, I'm certainly not well, it's not that I could say it, but it'd be very repetitious and long, and I don't want to make like a hour and a half video. So with that said, I'm gonna get to the point, and the point that I wanted to make in this video is to show you how much of like a betrayal I kind of feel towards Channel Awesome, and particularly the watching the nostalgia critic videos, because really that's the only thing I watch on Channel Awesome. I believe I didn't even know like Lupa and like Cinema Snob was still on there until they left. But I because I watched the bulk of my I watched Phaelus, I watched Cinema Snob, I watched Linkara, I watch Lindsay Ellis when she does the Nostalgia Chick because she has an archive channel on that, and then her new stuff, which is actually pretty good. It was getting a tad feminist, and then it was getting back on course. It was getting back on course. So I do like Lindsay Ellis's stuff. Other than that, like I think I've seen like Spoonie's stuff like once or twice. I most the first time I saw him was when they did the room video. Whatever you do, don't watch Farlander 2. I was like, or don't review Farlander 2. I'm like, no, Highlander. Did I say Farlander? Highlander 2. Anyway, he goes, no, I'm doing the room. Oh, okay, thank God. But anyway, I was gonna tell you like when I started watching it, who kind of why I like the people that I do, including Doug and the Nostalgia Critic, and some of the a few other programs that were on Channel Awesome. Now, before I start, I put the hashtag change the channel. This is not to force anybody to do it. This is not to give propaganda that Channel Awesome is so bad and the rest of the producers and me are righteous, social justice warriors that are, trying to get back at the, totalitarian Channel Awesome. The way I look at it is that everybody looks at it differently, and it's not black and white; it's shades of gray. That's the way I think about it. So I did put up that channel in case you did want to respond, because I think if you're a fan of any of the people that I talked about, of course, including the Nostalgia Critic or anything on Channel Awesome, you're almost going to feel compelled to talk about it, and that's healthy. Do not be sad. Do not, hold back your feelings. Feel what you want to feel, and don't let a majority of people change your mind. If you feel one way, you feel one way. If you feel the other way, you feel the other way. Say it. It's a free country, and also too, I mean, what's it really going to matter? The damage has already been done. You're just expressing how you feel as a fan. So, either way, it's up there if you want to use it. If you don't want to use it, that's fine too. So, now I'm going to begin. So, I started watching anything that had to do with that guy with the glasses.com around 2011. The reason I remember that is because my friend at the time, her Minecraft name was Silent Ishtar, and she was just one day was laughing her ass off. And what are you laughing at? I was like, ugh, the nostalgia chick. She's so funny. And I'm like, okay. And then she's like, Wadey, because my name is Wade, but people call me Wadey. You go, Wadey, you have to watch this. It's so funny. And so I go, okay, okay. She usually makes me watch videos I really didn't like. But it came up. I thought it was going to be YouTube. It was that guy with the glasses.com. And I was watching the first video I've ever watched from that site was the Nostalgia Chick. I don't remember which episode, but it was the Nostalgia Chick. And then I watched like 5 or 6 episodes after. So that was the first time I watched it. And I actually watched Nostalgia Critic. The next time I went on there, I watched Nostalgia Critic because he was all plastered all over the place. And I'm not sure, but I want to say I seen I think it was the Garbage Pail Kids review, which was excellent. And then see after that, I watched. I believe it was Angry Joe was the next one I watched. I think he might have been on Blistered Thumbs. Although I think I yeah, the first one I did watch on that guy with the glasses, and I think they went to Blistered Thumbs shortly thereafter. Unless he was already on Blistered Thumbs, he was on there, so I watched a couple of his episodes. See, at that time, that's when they were primarily on Blip, and Blip is like a kind of like a good way to. It's like a generic. It's like instead of Dr Pepper, you go to Sam's Club or Walmart and you get Mr. Pepper or Dr. Spicy, or like an off-brand. That's what it kind of reminded me of. But yeah, uh, so it was nostalgia chick, the nostalgia critic, Angry Joe, and then let's see, I'm trying to remember. I think I might have saw one Linkara, but I didn't really like it at the time. And then I watched Oh yeah. Then I started watching the Cinema Snob, and Cinema Snob. Oh my God, that's like one of my favorite things on YouTube by far. His humor and my humor are just like perfectly in tune. And if you never see him like after he watches a movie, he goes live on Facebook and he like records the video for later if people want to watch it. But he talks about the video with his buddy that he saw it with, whoever that may be, and he talks about the movie and you can chat and it's really a lot of fun. Um, so I pretty much watched. I didn't watch like I didn't watch like some of the more obscure type of ones. Let's see. Yeah, I didn't watch Mars. What's Mars Girl? There's a few other ones. I don't know their names particularly, but I have seen them on there. So I haven't watched a lot of those, but yeah. So let's see. After that, I watched trying to think. Angry Joe. Let's see. Oh, I can't remember. Let's see. I watched pretty much all of them. Like I said, for the obscure ones. Oh, speaking of, I think the one after the last one I said was, and I watched Cinema Stomp. I watched Phalus, and then Obscurus Lupa. So I watched. Excuse me. I watched those. I had to cough. I don't want to cough like hack in the freaking the microphone. Okay, but yeah, I watched all of them, and then I think the last one I watched was his name is Sage, and that guy could go fuck himself because he said Inuyasha was garbage. He reviews animes, and Inuyasha is one of my favorite animes of all time. And he called it garbage. So to the Sage, you're the only show on that was on the guy with glasses slash uh the channel awesome that I do not like. You can suck my dick. Nah, I mean personally, I got nothing against the guy who just said one of my favorite animes was garbage. So yeah, I'm a little bit ticked off. I'm not really. So yeah, that's pretty much how I kind of got introduced to everybody. And there was a time, it was last year and this year, I watched a lot of Phalus. Phalus is one of my favorites. And then I watched a lot of Nostalgia Critic, and I watched a lot of Cinema Snob. Recently, I've been getting into Linkara actually, because I like the way he kind of narrates the comic books. Because I'm never gonna buy like half the comic books he's gonna buy, so it's kind of nice to kind of have a narration. And I did like several channels that kind of read comic books to you and kind of it was real neat. But I have to say that I know people are angry, but I have to say that I think personally Doug Walker is a talented person. I really do. Because okay, he is given the best of what he gets. Okay? He gets a script, he has to do something with it. And I think he does a pretty good job. I think a lot of his reviews have actually not been that bad. People say, "Oh, well, they aren't funny." That's not what it is, and I can explain to you why. It's not him per se. It's the sketches in between the episodes. So the sketches are either hit or miss. They're about 50-50. Either they're kind of funny, you get a giggle, or they're like, ugh, flat. But some of them are actually really funny. The problem is that there's too many of them, in my opinion. So it kind of disconnects you with the review itself and kind of takes you out of the element because you're immersed in kind of his narration about how he is talking in the videos. You know, like he's, oh, this character's doing this, and then this happens. I like that. I like that exposition. But the thing is that when it's interrupted, like every 5 minutes by a sketch, not him, not when they go and take a scene to him and he does something. That doesn't really take me out as far as when they use Malcolm and Tamara. Now, Malcolm and Tamara are very talented actors. They are. I think what it is that the I like them when they're themselves and like they have like one or two characters that are funny. The rest are kind of like hit or miss. I guess if you find them funny, you find them funny. Personally, I think about 70% of the things that he does aren't very funny. The rest of them are rather funny, and I think that he does the best that he can. And as far as the acting is concerned, he's not the best actor, but you got to remember that it wouldn't be so memorable if it wasn't kind of cheesy. Okay, this is supposed to be comedy. That's what it is. It's comedy. It's not Shakespeare in the Park. It's or anything like that. It's not Broadway. So you don't really want somebody like that to perfectly act. You wouldn't want Monty Python just like saying Shakespearean verses, acting non-silly or non-funny, and it's just totally straight edge like seriousness. That's not what you want because this is a comedy. And I think people are being a little too judgmental. But you know, yeah. So as far as Doug is concerned, I think he's funny. I like the what was it Jesus Santa that Rob does. Also funny. Malcolm has I think that character Bob. That's very funny. And the Tamara with the she's like plays an older lady. She has a cigarette in her mouth and she's got a drink like she's like a old like drunkard wife. That's very very funny to me. Um, Everything else either kind of delivers or falls flat. So I want people to realize that there's talent there in Nostalgia Critic, as far as I'm concerned, because that does the talent in the acting isn't the issue as far as I'm concerned. I think people are talking about it and are bitter about it because of the politics behind everything. Now, whether Doug and Rob with that Mike Machad guy was involved in everything, it's already been said that at least Rob was more involved than Rob than yeah the basically than Doug. Rob was more involved than it with Doug. Um, I don't know from those documents, and I think his demeanor. I cannot see that Doug being that much of a malicious person. I think he might have an ego, but really, when you're an actor, that kind of helps. Now there were points in another video that talking about well that one they're talking about the document, and one of them said he wanted it to act like more like him, and that was brought up kind of as a negative. Well, here's the deal. I kind of agree with Doug on that aspect because a director directs. So if he's a director and he's directing you, then you want him to give you stage direction. Whether it works good or not, you be the judge. Personally, I kind of like I like Kick Assia, and I didn't see the other ones, but Kick Assia I did see, and I thought that was actually pretty cool. And I'm gonna get to my next point, which is the, whenever I watch a Channel Awesome video that's got or guy with the glasses video that's got a crossover, like Cinema Snob going to do a crossover with Phaelus, or Critic doing a crossover with Phaelus, or Lupa doing a crossover with the Cinema Snob, or those two doing a crossover with the Cinema Snob, like in the Jaquila and Benetti videos that he did, which is actually very funny. I suggest you go on Stone Gremlin website and watch the Jaquila and Benetti videos with Phaelus, Obscurus Lupa, and the Cinema Stomp. Very funny. But it's just like I always seen them as buddies, Film Brain, Joe, Lucara, Lupa, everyone. I always thought they were like brothers from another mother's, or sister from another mister's. They were like in the same universe, but they were all buddies. And some of them were buddies, but you know, some of them weren't. And I can relate to some of the stuff as far as being alienated from people that were buddies, and they were kind of in a clique, and you were kind of on the outside. In the Google document, somebody kind of mentioned that he was kind of the outcast, and nobody would talk to him, and basically got the shine treatment. Now, I'm not sure who would do that on that cast, but I know how that feels. Definitely know how that feels, so I can relate to that person. But anyway, it's just I just imagine all those guys just really staying together, and I always thought it was like Snow White and the Seven Dwarves, where they were just like working together and happy and whistling, and that turned out not to be the case because of some political BS. Um, as far as what happened, as far as how I feel, I I feel it's my business because I did watch the content that I have some say, but I don't think I am the right person to judge anybody. Not that I'm bad or good or in between, or that I think I'm superior to everyone else. I just feel that that's really, when it comes down to it, it is my business and it's not my business. And I feel that, you know, going and putting my 2 cents in completely is kind of disrespecting everybody else that was there and saw it. It's like, yeah, I'm just some third party, and this is how I feel. People, you know, and you just really just hammer into the situation, and it's just like, nah. I will say that, I think all of those people that I mentioned, Lupa, Joe, Phaelus, Spoonie, really every contributor to the guy with the glasses and Channel Awesome, the way that they were treated, it, it makes me very sad. And it just, I'm gonna compare it to something, and I don't want people to think that I'm comparing one that was really like a super ultra tragedy to this, but I'm a wrestling fan, and in 2007, a wrestler named Chris Benoit killed his wife Nancy and his child. And the reason I bring that up is that I loved Chris Benoit before that. He was like my one of my favorite wrestlers. He was an amazing wrestler, and I'm not saying that this wrestling made up for murdering his wife and child. That's inexcusable, and he's probably rotting in hell, which is deserved for what he did. It was terrible what he did, and there's no excuse for it. However, before before he did that stuff, he was a legend in professional wrestling. He was considered one of the best of all time. There was no doubt he'd be in the WWE Hall of Fame one year until he did what he did. And basically, what he did is that all of his fans, including myself and my best friend at the time, basically had to disown Chris Benoit because what he did was so terrible that there was just really no excusing it. And when you kind of mention it and kind of jest, it was like uncomfortable. Like, you shouldn't have really brought him up because what he did was terrible. There's no excuse. And even as being one of the best of all time, if you fucking kill your wife and child or you kill anybody in cold blood, that's absolutely completely wrong. And if you do not disown that person and in that aspect, then you are indeed contributing to the problem of this person being terrible and exacerbating his crimes. The reason I brought this up is because I had all these Chris Benoit DVDs and tapes that I collected, and now they're pretty much just off to the side collecting dust because I could not watch them since then. And again, I'm not comparing what Channel Awesome did to a murder. However, the notion of disowning somebody, okay? Now, like I said, what what the Channel Awesome executives and management does, I think was a pretty terrible thing what they did to just contributors. I do think that. But in good conscience, as far as I'm concerned, I feel like, and I don't do this with everything. I'm not a SJW or anything like that, but I felt compelled to unsubscribe from their YouTube channel and their Twitter because I also had them on Twitter, and that is actually going to be pretty hard for me because I still like the Cinema Stomp. I do. I still think that he's funny. The only thing that I have a complaint with is he's doing a lot of Disney movies, and those are kind of like hit or miss. And I wish he'd do a lot more like old school '80s movies, but unfortunately, I'm never gonna know because I disown him, and that's just because of all the rest of the contributors, and especially that Google document about one of the people on there actually was close to nearly committing suicide. And then there was like sexual harassment stuff. And then Lupa saying it was basically misogynist. Now, I'm not a feminist or an SJW, but the way that she expresses it is actually kind of, if you're a woman, it's kind of like, obviously, you don't need to be SJW. You kind of have sympathy for that. It's just like, how you treat like a coworker that's a woman in your work. You treat them with a certain amount of respect and dignity. It has nothing to do with being a feminist or an SJW. It's just basic human, you know, um, interaction. Especially in a work environment, and the way Lupa has been treated, and Lindsay, and Mars Girl, and everybody in between, all the women. It's pretty terrible. And if you read the document, you realize that I'm not exaggerating the point. It's actually stuff that I'm saying that they said actually happened. So they claim. So, and how they just I want you to read the document and I want you to make it up for yourself. But those are the few of the things that are pretty grievous. And I'm not telling you anything that you're not gonna learn in more detail. But those are just what some of the main things. Oh, the the people who are still on Channel Awesome, I would like you to know from being a former fan of Channel Awesome that the contributors and the people who had nothing to do with any of the bullshit that was going on, I'm here to tell you that it's not your fault and that people should not be harassing you. If you see this video and you want to like go change the channels, you say, "Oh, all those producers suck," and blah blah blah. That's up to you to do, but I urge you not to do that because they're not doing anything wrong, and I think that doing that is putting the blame and the anger on the wrong um, side, you know. And I would urge you not to do that. If you're gonna show any anger, maybe show it to Mike Machad, or maybe a little bit of Dog, maybe a little bit to Rob. I don't know. That's up to you to decide, but don't be like, "Oh, I'm gonna fucking kill you and you're fucking dead." And come on, man, that's that's illegal. Plus, it's what kind of a person do you want? You want to be that person? Huh? You don't want to be that person. You want to be the reasonable person. So I would urge people not to do that because a lot of them still do quality content. Like on Channel Awesome, I like the top 10. Robin Williams scenes, the top worst Robin Williams scenes. They have a lot of the list. I don't know the guy's name, but he's very very funny. He does the countdown show, the top 10 worst, Steve Gutenberg performances or whatever. He's That's a very funny show. So there's still some good content at Channel Awesome. And if you feel like watching it, don't let that stop you. I think as long as you put your foot down and say, you know what, I still like your content, but I don't like you personally, and you stick with that, I don't think there's anything wrong with watching Channel Awesome content. You just got to put it in perspective. Just not, maybe give them money so that you can buy a Nostalgia Critic T-shirt and then give the money to the company. Give it to the producers. If they have Patreons, give some to their Patreons. I'm sure that they need it, and I'm sure that they certainly appreciate it. Or contact them in a nice manner on Twitter. I talked, I contacted Lupa and Linkara, and they were very respectful and nice to me. They appreciated my comments. As long as you're cool to them, I'm sure that they might comment back to you, and then they might respect that and respect you as a fan. That's on their side, which I think that definitely should be. But yeah, wow, I actually think I said all I wanted to say. So yeah, yeah, guys. If you want to watch any of the contributors that I mentioned, Linkara, the Cinema Snob, Obscurus Lupa, Phalis, they're all on YouTube. Just look them up and subscribe to them. And I would really hope that if you haven't, you would. Um, because man, it just some of the reviews takes me back, and then some of the reviews are just so good that I haven't seen before. Uh, oh man, there's so much good, great, talented people that do all kinds of funny content, and I really hope that what comes out of all this is even highlights just how much more talented and funnier all of these people that were affected negatively in this Channel Awesome debacle are really. Because I think that they're very talented and uh, they're just very talented, very cool people that are respectful and nice to their fans and put out funny, uh, great content that a lot of us, including myself, enjoy. And hope that they keep doing so in the years to come, and hopefully that this experience will be a teaching, you know, kind of jumping off point, and from this they can grow stronger and better and faster and make more kick-ass reviews that applies to their own strengths and talents that they individually have. And I think that's all you can ask for it. Um, as far as I want to say to Doug Walker. Uh, I think if you have a shred or modicum of respect for any of the people that were your content creators, that maybe, and I'm not gonna say you can right now. You might be under contract, but maybe in the future consider leaving Channel Awesome, starting a new channel, maybe building back bridges, making apologies, shaking hands, saying I'm sorry, and kind of mending a lot of the hurt feelings that these people have. And I think for you, it's not too late. I think you can do it, and I think you can do it, and people will eventually understand and appreciate where you're coming from. Because I do think deep down that you are a very cool person, and that's what I would hope to believe. You are very talented, and so maybe one day that'll happen. I certainly hope so. Rob, I hope that's the same thing with that. With that, Michael Machad, I don't know you personally, guy, but I think you have severe egg on your face, and without being too heinous or harsh, I really think you should quit Channel Awesome and let people who are responsible and treat people with respect run a business that you obviously are ill prepared psychologically and personally to do. So, you need to do a lot of growing up, buddy. And as far as you acting all tough and scared and scaring people, you're not that scary, bro. And I can guarantee you, you could pick 5 random people out of a crowd, and they wouldn't be scared of you. You're about as tough as, you know, angel food cake, and you're about as strong as mud. So I would suggest you quit your day job and do something else because pretty soon you are going to get blackballed from any entertainment as far as the internet is concerned. And if this rolls back on you in your future jobs, you have nobody to blame but yourself. Good luck to all of your future endeavors, sir, because you are certainly going to need them. And a lot of psychiatry. So, yeah, um, go to the people's Twitter, go to the people's the content creators Twitter and YouTube. Subscribe, join their YouTube, join their Twitter and their YouTube, and tell them that you support them. Tell them that you love them. Tell them that you watch their content through good times and bad times, and that you appreciate them, and that you are on their side. And I also ask you at the same time, be respectful of the people that are still on Channel Awesome. That's not Mike Machad and some of the other people and that was listed on that document. There's still people trying to do what they need to do with their stuff, and they're not to blame. So I would suggest you being a little bit respectful towards them, and really don't be a part of the herd. Be your own individual. Make up your own minds. Are you gonna quit watching Channel Awesome? Are you gonna still watch it? That's up to you, and don't let anybody change your mind or intimidate you. Be your own person, and that's good enough. Now, I think that's all I have to say. If you would like to contact any of the people directly, that's probably more direct. You can write a tweet, and then at the end of it, put in hashtag change the channel. And I think they'll hear it along with other people who are discussing the matter, and there's going to be quite a bit of discussion. This is just the beginning of it. So, all right. So I think I got everything I wanted to say. I hope you liked my video. If you do, please give it a thumbs up. Um, leave a respectful comment, and you know, think about subscribing to my channel because I'm gonna put out more content in the future, including more video game stuff. And rants when it's appropriate. So until then, this is Hemp 316, and I will talk to you later. Have a good day, everybody.